Hi, and welcome to the podcast of CyberSecurity on my channel. So we're going to talk about public Wi-Fi today. And public Wi-Fi is a thing that we talked about different occasions on my channel, different perspectives and different situations. But today's podcast is going to be more about raising awareness towards what is actually bad about the public Wi-Fi. Why is it a thing we still talk about? And even so, in 2024, what's up and what is not with the public Wi-Fi? So let's just introduce this first of all. Public Wi-Fi is pretty convenient, right? So you have your phone, you walk around, you find yourself a coffee shop, you connect to it. It is free. Sometimes you get a code on the receipt and basically you log on to the Wi-Fi and you can do your stuff, right? The thing is, okay, so I understand the convenience about this, and I understand that most of us do that, and there are ways for you to actually do it in a secure way, but there's also plenty of room for making others do it securely. And this is basically one of the reasons that we talk about this in this podcast. So we're going to talk about the common risks associated with the public Wi-Fi is that we are using unencrypted networks. So we are basically talking about a Wi-Fi that anyone can connect to. Someone that visited the coffee shop. Let's take the coffee shop example for now. Just once can basically just hop on to the same Wi-Fi, open up a Wireshark, and then sniff all the traffic. Now, I am aware that your traffic from your end to the website you're communicating with might be using HTTPS. Okay, so still, if you're doing that, the actual risk there is very susceptible to something called man-in-the-middle attacks. And when it comes to Wi-Fi, that is one of the things that is more or less standardized as a click-to-go attack. Basically, any security Linux distributions got this kind of software installed these days. One of the most popular ones, Linux Kali. Basically just install it and click on a button. You don't really have to know anything about it. Just basically have to click the button. You can also buy the Hack 5 Wi-Fi bundle. Get the whatever it's called. Not the Wi-Fi coconut, but the Wi-Fi pineapple. There we go. And then the software is already served for you through videos online. Plenty of people, even I did some of these things on my channel to try and raise awareness. So the man in the middle is in particular dangerous because it can steal information, make you send traffic directly to a malicious person and being redirected. And we're also talking about getting your information stolen that way. Another thing that can be done on these public Wi-Fi is something called malicious hotspots. It's just another thing you just create the same network. Let's say that the network at the coffee shop is called Starbucks 1. And then you just create a new network called Starbucks 1. So you might say, but hey, it's the same name. What will then happen? Well, what basically will happen is when you open your network connection, lists on your laptop or phone or whatever, right? Then you're going to see multiple of the same network with the same name. So Starbucks 1, new line, Starbucks 1. And then what will stop the guest from clicking the one you have, right? Then you could say, but hey, when I log on to Starbucks 1, I'm greeted with a welcome to Starbucks message, like a web page. That's no problem at all because we can just clone that. It's also a tool. It's a tool called setTool. In Linux Kali, for example, that's going to do a social engineering tool that basically is a social engineering toolkit installed to clone websites. It's write the website name, press enter, clone it, and it starts up a web server on your computer. And then you just do the Wi-Fi attack by creating a malicious hotspot, and it might sound as something wild and crazy that requires some crazy matrix skills, but that is not really true. It doesn't require crazy matrix skills. It's just watching one video on YouTube, spending 30 minutes, and boom, you're almost good to go. It's pretty scary stuff. So using these public Wi-Fi's is associated with risk. And when I'm talking about these kind of things before, I'm going to keep talking about it. So we're going to identify safe public Wi-Fi networks. And that's going to be, rather difficult for the common consumer, you could probably say, because assuming that we have this Starbucks, multiple of them, which one to use? And in all honesty, I cannot make up any easy way for the common foe to say that one. Even if I were sitting there, I would not necessarily have any means of saying this is the right, network connection. So the things that can happen is that you connect to it, and some things might give it away while you're being asked to download a certificate. It's a big red flag. Leave network at once, because that is most likely the attacker trying to push their certificate to you, so that whatever HTTPS traffic you're trying to encrypt, the attacker can decrypt it like this. So never do that. And also make sure that you're using HTTPS, and basically, even though that you're connecting to an attacker's Wi-Fi using the HTTP connection, it will still be encrypted. So, but just the fact that you're being pushed through the attacker's devices, there's a chance the attacker can set up different kind of multiple traps for you to try and lure you into clicking on something or typing a password or something like that, in some way giving off some credentials. Also make sure to check for warnings. The browsers these days are pretty good at detecting these kind of things, so that might be some things giving away. So coming around this, for best practices for using public Wi-Fi safely, it's well, the best you can do is to basically avoid accessing stuff like sensitive information. Don't do banking, stick to stuff that isn't really require you to log in. Use a login less YouTube. Don't log into Facebook. Don't do these kind of things. Do stuff surfing, news websites, without logging in. Again, if so, you have to do these kind of things. Use a VPN, for example. There are plenty of different kind of VPN services you can buy and use, and it's straightforward, right? Also enable two-factor authentication, the service you're using, because they're gonna require the attacker to be able to two-factor authenticate her as you, and that's difficult. Another thing that I see people forget about is to disable these automatic connections. Phones and tablets and laptops, even normal computers, got this automatic, what do you call it, roaming connection. It's a protocol that's gonna automatically connect yourself to network that are known. You probably know that already. So you take your home, your laptop, your work laptop, you open it in Starbucks cafe, you're already connected, right? That's the feature you have to disable. And I know it's not convenient for you, but it is the safest advice that I can give you. Additional tips could be stuff like, make sure that your software is up to date. It's a typical one used for basically anything. So use antivirus software, have something running. You can just turn it off when you're done surfing using the public Wi-Fi, but you can have something live monitoring your computer, browser stuff. There are plenty of different, antivirus software these days. They can do more than just antivirus and more than just scanning your machine. So basically you can also monitor your activity in a browser. So you're going to invest something in it, I know, but it's an additional safety tip. Turn off file sharing. There might be an error on your Windows version, whatever version you're using, or I'll take it mostly using Windows. Will also be a Mac, right? Not really caring too much about Linux right now, but the same advice goes. It's going to be a turn off file sharing, because if that is public accessible, well, there might be other ways for the attacker to gain more access to the computer. So the overall conclusion is, the public Wi-Fi, if you have to, stick to stuff that isn't needed for you to have in your working life. For example, offline YouTube, news sites that require you to log on, so on. Make sure to remember the things, stay up to date, and so on. Update your software. And basically just want to say, if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, please go and subscribe. I will post many different kind of videos in the future. I'm at the moment focusing on my podcast here that I'm going to try and push out and see whether it's going to be a success or not. I really hope that you learned something from it today, and I will cover different kind of topics throughout the podcast series. And it's going to be around 10-15 minutes long every time. So see you out there and stay safe.